All right, 2.4. The last section in Unit 2 we're going to be covering in this unit. So some basic concepts here, some definitions. You can just pause and read these yourself if you want to. I'm just going to go over them really quickly. A, B, and C are real numbers. So addition property basically says if you have two things that are equal to each other and you add something to one, then you add something to the other. That's just basic, algebra. Whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. And that goes for addition and subtraction. So if you subtract something from one side, you subtract it from the other side. You've been doing that for years. Multiplication, division, same concept. If you multiply by something on one side, you must multiply by the same thing on the other side. It just can't be zero. And then with division, same thing. If you're going to divide one thing by something, same thing over here, but can't be zero. Very important. All right, then substitution. If A is equal to B, then A can be substituted for B or vice versa. And distributive property. You know how to do this. Basically, whenever you have parentheses, you're going to distribute by multiplying each term. It's very important. The most common mistake is to not multiply. Here's the most common wrong thing right here. AB plus C. Forgetting to put the A with the C. Right? It doesn't matter whether it's addition or subtraction. Same concept. All right. Just follow along. You're not going to work with a partner. In the previous courses, you studied different properties, such as properties of equality, distributive, commutative, all that stuff. So write the property that justifies each of the following steps. So here's the first thing. You write the equation. So here is our starting equation. Now, what happened from there to the second one? Well, it looks like everything here is exactly the same, but we got 2x plus 6 because we sent that in. So that's the distributive property. Okay? And then what do we do? All right? 6 minus 5 is 1. Okay? So there we combine like terms. Now, notice we subtracted 2x here and we subtracted 2x here. All right? Well, that's what we just talked about in the previous page with the subtraction property of equality. All right? And then, again, what did we do? We did 5x minus 2x is 3x, so we combined like terms. I'm just going to say combine there because you know what we're talking about. Then, we subtracted 4 from both sides, so what do we do there? Again, the subtraction property of equality. All right? Okay, so here we're just simplifying, which is also a term we could use here and here. Combine like terms or simplify. Now, what's happening here? We're dividing both sides by 3, so that's the division property. All right. Then x equals -1. Again, we're just simplifying. Well, -1 equals x. And then saying x equals -1. That's called symmetry, if you remember. Basically, it's the same thing on both sides. So -1 equals x, x equals -1. All right, we're going to do this here step by step. So first off, we write the original 3x plus 2 equals 23 minus 4x. Okay, so we just wrote it down. So we just say given. That was what was given to us. Now, you have choices here, okay? It doesn't matter what you do first, all right? You might choose to get rid of the 2. You might choose to get rid of the 3x by subtracting to the left to right side. You might decide to move the 23 by subtraction or the 4x by addition. It's your call. You can move the letters first or the numbers first. It makes no difference. You'll get to the same answer. I'm going to add 4x to both sides. Okay? And that's going to be the addition rule. I just added to both sides. So that's going to give me 7x plus 2 equals, this is gone now, 23. Well, if I move the letters to the left, okay, and what's here is it's just simplified. I need to move my numbers to the right. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. And right there, that's my property, subtraction. Nothing too tricky here. So that's going to give me 7x equals 21, which is, just simplifying again, I can abbreviate that. Now, I'm going to get rid of the 7 by division because it was multiplied. So that's the division property. And that gives me x equals 3. And that is my solution. So we're just doing basic algebra here. All right. -5 parentheses 7w plus 8 equals 30. That's given. Now, some of you might automatically want to distribute the -5, and that's perfectly okay. But here's a shortcut, a little sneak. Okay? -5 is a factor of 30. That means, since this is being multiplied by the parentheses, I can divide to get rid of -5. I can do it over here. Now, if that was 31, this would not work, and you would have to distribute, and you'll probably end up with a fraction for an answer, but you save that for the end. But since -5 is a factor of 30, why not start by dividing off the bat? Okay? So when I do that, I'm left with just 7w plus 8 equals -6. Again, that's simplified. Now again, I could have done -35w minus 40. All right? And then I would have added 40, right? And then divided by -35. I'm going to do the same concept here, just with smaller numbers. So I'm going to get rid of the 8 right here, just like I would have subtracted the 40, or sorry, added 40, because it would have been -40. I'm doing this, the same step, just with smaller numbers. It's your choice. If you distribute first, that's not bad or wrong. You'll still get the same answer. So here, I obviously did subtraction on both sides, which leaves me 7w equals -14. You borrow $6, you borrow $8 more, you owe 14. So this is just simplified. Now, just like before, I'm going to divide by 7. So all you're doing here is algebra. You're just justifying, you're saying what I'm doing step by step. Like you were sitting next to a toddler who just kept saying, why, why, why? That's all you're doing. All right, solve the formula. A equals 1/2 BH, 4B. Okay. Justify each step. All right, so I have A equals 1/2 BH. That's given. Now, I'm trying to get B by itself, so I'm going to circle this. What is attached to the B? Well, a 1/2 and an H. You choose what you want to get rid of first. I'm going to choose to get rid of the 1/2. Now, 1/2 is really the same as B over 2, which means B divided by 2. So how would you get rid of that 2? Multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. I showed it up on that step, but you know what's going on. So I'm going to skip a space down here. So that's going to give me 2a equals bh. Again, I'm trying to get b by itself. What's attached to the b? This is just simplified. The h is attached by multiplication, so I'm going to divide by h. So that's division. And that leaves me with 2a over h equals b. simplify, and you can leave it like this. Your letter does not have to be on the left side like this. It's perfectly okay leaving it the way it was. But this would be that symmetry rule. But you don't have to do that. That is not necessary. All right, more vocabulary. Okay, so reflexive property basically means something is itself. Symmetry just means you can switch it. All right. Also, it means, so if A equals B and B, then B equals A. We just switch them. If AB is CD, then CD is AB. We're just switching sides like we just did. And transitive basically says if A is B and B is C, then A is C. So it's kind of like saying if Adam and Becca are friends and Becca and Charlie are friends, Adam and Charlie will probably be friends. And they give the same example with segment lengths and angle measures. All right, name the property of equality that the statement illustrates. So if angle 6 is equal to angle 7, then angle 7 is equal to angle 6. All right, so basically what we did was we just switched the places, so that's symmetry, or symmetric. 34 equals 34, that's reflexive. Another way to think about that is what sounds like reflexive? Reflection. If you see yourself in the mirror, you see yourself. All right, if angle 1 equals angle 2, and angle 2 equals angle 5, then angle 1 equals angle 5. That is that whole friendship example I just did, and that's transitive. All right, if JK equals KL and KL equals 16, then JK is 16. That's transitive again. PQ is ST, ST is PQ. So we just switch them, flip them. So that's symmetry, like number 1. ZY equals ZY. Okay, that's itself. So that's reflexive. You're looking at yourself in the mirror. You're seeing your reflection. That's it.